Your life right now is a radio station, and you've been broadcasting the same song on repeat for years. Every morning you wake up, you hit play on the same frequency, same thoughts, same fears, same version of yourself. And somehow you're shocked when nothing changes. But here's what's really happening. You're not stuck because the world won't let you move forward. You're stuck because you keep transmitting a signal that calls in exactly what you already have. And right now, in this very moment, that signal is starting to collapse. You can feel it, can't you? That restlessness, that sense that something's ending even though you can't see what's beginning. That's not anxiety. That's the sound of your old frequency dying. Let me explain how this works, because once you understand it, you can't unsee it. Everything in existence operates on frequency. Radio waves, light waves, sound waves, they're all just different vibrations moving through space. And you're the same. Your thoughts vibrate at a frequency. Your emotions vibrate at a frequency. Your beliefs, your habits, your identity, all of it is broadcasting a signal out into the field of reality, and that field responds by sending back a matching frequency. It's not magic, it's physics. When you broadcast fear, you receive situations that confirm your fear. When you broadcast lack, you receive evidence of scarcity. When you broadcast the frequency of "I'm not good enough," the universe doesn't argue with you. It just delivers more proof that you're right. This is why affirmations don't work for most people. You can stand in front of a mirror and say, "I am wealthy," 1,000 times, but if your dominant frequency is still tuned to struggle, you're just putting different lyrics over the same beat. The signal underneath hasn't changed. Your nervous system is still broadcasting poverty. Your subconscious is still running the old program. And reality? Reality always matches the signal, not the words. So let's get brutally honest about what frequency you're actually broadcasting right now. Look at your bank account. That's your financial frequency made visible. Look at your relationships. That's your love frequency materialized. Look at your health, your career, your daily experience of life. All of it is a readout of the signal you've been transmitting, most of it unconsciously, for years. This isn't about blame. This isn't about shame. This is about accuracy. If you don't like what you're seeing, you're not broken. You're just tuned to the wrong station. But here's where it gets interesting. You know that feeling you've been having lately? That everything's falling apart? That the things that used to work don't work anymore? That people are leaving, opportunities are shifting, old versions of yourself are becoming unbearable to maintain. That's not failure. That's frequency collapse. And it's the most important thing that could possibly happen to you right now. See, old frequencies don't fade gently. They collapse, they destabilize, they create chaos, because your current signal has been running for so long that it's built an entire infrastructure around it. Neural pathways in your brain, relationship patterns, daily routines, a whole identity structure that depends on you staying exactly who you've been. And when a new frequency starts trying to emerge, the old one fights back. It creates turbulence. It generates resistance. It makes you feel like you're losing control, because you are. You're losing control of the old signal, and that terrified feeling. That's actually the sound of transformation beginning. Most people panic here. They feel the collapse and immediately try to stabilize the old frequency. They go back to the X. They take the safe job. They numb out with distractions. They return to the familiar frequency because at least they know how that one feels, even if it's slowly killing them. But you can't stabilize a frequency that's meant to die. It's like trying to keep a caterpillar from dissolving. The dissolution is the point. The collapse is the upgrade trying to install itself. Right now, whether you realize it or not, you're standing at a frequency crossroads. Your old signal is collapsing because it has to. It's reached its maximum potential. It's delivered everything it was ever going to deliver to you, and now it's obsolete. The question isn't whether it's falling apart, it's already happening. The question is, what are you going to build in its place? Because here's the truth, nobody tells you. Every single day you're broadcasting, you're either reinforcing the old frequency or tuning into a new one. There's no neutral, there's no pause button. You're always transmitting And the universe? It doesn't care what frequency you choose. It's not judging you, it's just matching you. If you wake up tomorrow and broadcast the same signal you've been running for the past 5 years, you'll get the same life. Same problems, different day. But if you choose, and it is a choice, to tune into a different frequency, reality has no choice but to reorganize itself around that new signal. This isn't theory. This is how manifestation actually works. It's not about vision boards and wishful thinking. It's about becoming a different frequency so completely that the old reality can't exist around you anymore. So right now, I need you to feel something. Not think it, feel it. Your old signal is collapsing. You can sense it in the way nothing feels solid anymore. The way your motivation for old goals has evaporated. The way people who used to match your frequency suddenly feel like strangers. The way the person you've been feels like a costume that doesn't fit. That discomfort isn't something to fix. It's something to honor. Because on the other side of that collapse is a frequency you've never broadcast before. A signal so aligned with who you're becoming that when you lock into it, your entire reality will have no choice but to shift. But you have to let the old one die first. And that's what we're about to do. You're watching a caterpillar dissolve inside a chrysalis, and all you can think is, it's dying. But it's not dying, it's liquefying. Its entire body breaks down into a cellular soup, and if you cracked open that chrysalis halfway through, you wouldn't find a half-formed butterfly. You'd find chaos. You'd find nothing that looks like what it was or what it's becoming, just formless potential reorganizing itself at the deepest level. That's you right now. That job that suddenly feels soul-crushing even though it was fine. Last year, that relationship that's inexplicably falling apart even though you're trying to save it. That version of yourself that you can barely stand to be anymore. It's not breaking, it's liquefying. And you're in the chrysalis whether you like it or not. Here's what nobody tells you about transformation. It doesn't feel like growth, it feels like death. Because at the frequency level, that's exactly what it is. Your old signal isn't just fading into the background, it's being systematically dismantled. Every neural pathway that kept you running the old program, every emotional pattern that reinforced your previous identity, every unconscious belief that held your old reality in place, all of it has to destabilize before the new frequency can fully emerge. This isn't a gentle transition. This is controlled demolition from the inside out. And your brain hates this because your brain's #1 job isn't to make you happy or successful or fulfilled. It's to keep you alive. And alive to your brain means predictable. It means familiar. It means the same frequency you've been broadcasting since you were old enough to form an identity. So when that frequency starts collapsing, your brain interprets it as a threat. It floods you with anxiety. It generates catastrophic thoughts. It convinces you that everything's going wrong when really everything's going right. You're just in the liquefaction phase. This is why the collapse feels so disorienting. You wake up one day and the things that used to motivate you suddenly feel meaningless. The goals you were chasing feel hollow. The people you were close to suddenly feel like they're speaking a different language. You look in the mirror and the person staring back feels like a stranger wearing your face. And the worst part, you can't force yourself to care about the old things anymore. You try to pump yourself up, try to get excited about the life you built, and it's like trying to start a car with a dead battery. The old frequency isn't responding because it's not supposed to. It's collapsing on purpose. But here's where most people make the fatal mistake. They think the collapse is the problem, so they try to fix it. They double down on the old frequency. They force themselves back into the routines that used to work. They white-knuckle their way through relationships that are clearly over. They stay in careers that are slowly suffocating them because at least it's familiar suffering. They medicate the discomfort with distractions, addictions, anything to numb the sensation of dissolution. And in doing so, they trap themselves in the worst possible place, stuck between frequencies, broadcasting static, getting nothing but interference in return. Listen to me carefully. You cannot stop the collapse. You can delay it, you can resist it, you can pretend it's not happening, but you cannot stop it. Because your consciousness has already expanded beyond your old frequency. You've already seen too much, felt too much, understood too much to go back to who you were. That version of you is obsolete. The signal it was broadcasting has reached its expiration date, and trying to revive it is like trying to use a flip phone in a 5G world. It's not compatible with where you're going. So what is the collapse actually doing? It's clearing space. Think of your life as a radio tower that's been broadcasting the same frequency for years. Over time, that tower gets cluttered. Old equipment, outdated wiring, programs running in the background that you forgot you even installed. The collapse comes through and clears all of that out. It removes people who were only compatible with your old frequency. It dissolves situations that can't exist at your new vibration. It strips away the false identities you built to survive, not thrive. It's ruthless because it has to be. You can't broadcast a new signal through old, corroded equipment. And here's the part that'll blow your mind. The things collapsing aren't random. Look at what's falling apart in your life right now. That's not chaos, that's precision. The universe is removing everything that's incompatible with your next frequency. The relationship that's ending, it was tuned to your old signal. The friend group that suddenly feels draining. They're resonating at a frequency you've outgrown. The career that's becoming unbearable. It was built by a version of you that no longer exists. The collapse isn't punishing you. It's liberating you from a frequency prison you didn't even know you were in. But you have to let it happen. You have to stop trying to save the things that are meant to dissolve. Because every ounce of energy you spend trying to preserve your old frequency is energy. You're not investing in building your new one. And here's the brutal truth. You can't do both. You can't simultaneously hold on to who you were and become who you're meant to be. The caterpillar doesn't get to stay a caterpillar while also becoming a butterfly. It has to surrender completely to the liquefaction. It has to trust the dissolution. This is the frequency war nobody talks about, not the war between you and the world, the war between your old self and your emerging self. And your old self will fight dirty. It'll use fear. It'll weaponize comfort. It'll convince you that the collapse means you're failing, when really it means you're evolving. It'll make you believe that going back is safer than moving forward. It'll tell you that the devil you know is better than the angel you're becoming. But here's what your old frequency can't do. It can't stop what's already in motion. Right now, at the quantum level, you're reorganizing. New neural pathways are forming. New emotional patterns are emerging. New possibilities are becoming available that weren't even visible from your old frequency. You're not losing yourself, you're finding yourself underneath all the programming. And the collapse is just everything false burning away, so only what's real remains. So stop fighting it. Stop trying to make sense of it. Stop looking for the solid ground that isn't there yet. You're in the chrysalis. You're in the soup. You're in the space between who you were and who you're becoming, and that space is supposed to feel like nothing, because it is nothing. Nothing except pure potential waiting for you to choose what frequency you're going to broadcast next. The old signal is collapsing. Let it, because on the other side of that collapse is a version of you that your old frequency could never have accessed, and we're about to build it. You're in the void now. The old frequency is collapsing behind you, and the new one hasn't fully formed yet. This is the space where most people panic, because there's nothing to hold on to. No familiar patterns, no reliable outcomes, no guarantee that what comes next will be better than what you left behind. But here's what you need to understand. This void, this emptiness, this feeling of being untethered from everything you knew, this is the most powerful position you'll ever be in. Because right now, you're pure potential. You're a blank frequency generator. And whatever signal you choose to broadcast from this moment forward will literally construct your next reality. So the question isn't, what do I do now? The question is, what frequency am I choosing to become? Most people approach this backwards. They wait for their circumstances to change, and then they'll change their frequency to match. They think, once I have the money, I'll feel abundant. Once I meet the right person, I'll feel loved. Once I get the success, I'll feel worthy. But that's not how frequency works. That's trying to tune the radio after the song's already playing. Your external reality is always a lagging reflection of your internal frequency. Which means if you want a different reality, you don't wait for it to appear. You become the frequency of it first, and then watch reality reorganize itself to match. So let's get specific. What frequency are you tuning into? Not the fantasy version, not the someday version, the version that's available to you right now if you choose it. Because here's the truth, your new frequency isn't some distant destination you have to earn or achieve. It already exists. It's a potential channel that's always been broadcasting, you just weren't tuned into it. And the recalibration process isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about adjusting your signal to match the frequency of who you actually are underneath all the conditioning. This recalibration happens across 4 channels simultaneously, and you have to tune all 4 or the signal stays distorted. First channel, mental frequency. This is the station your thoughts are tuned to, and right now, be honest, what's playing on repeat in your mind? Because most people are broadcasting mental static. Worry loops, catastrophic predictions, recycled trauma, comparison spirals, all of it creating a frequency of chaos that the universe matches with chaotic circumstances. Your mental frequency isn't about positive thinking or forced affirmations. It's about signal clarity. It's about consciously choosing which thoughts you're going to amplify and which ones you're going to let dissolve into background noise. Every thought is a frequency. Every thought is a broadcast. And if you're not choosing your thoughts deliberately, you're just replaying the same mental programming that created your old reality. Second channel, emotional frequency. This is where most people lose the signal entirely because emotions feel involuntary. Something happens, you feel something, and you think you're just responding to reality. But you're not responding to reality, you're generating it. Your emotional state is the most powerful frequency amplifier you have. You can think abundant thoughts all day, but if your emotional frequency is tuned to fear or resentment or desperation, that's the signal that's actually broadcasting. That's what reality responds to. So the recalibration here isn't about suppressing negative emotions or faking happiness. It's about recognizing that you can feel your way into a new frequency. You can practice the emotional state of your desired reality before that reality exists. Not because you're pretending, but because you're pre-tuning. You're adjusting your emotional frequency to match the channel you're trying to access. Third channel, physical frequency. Your body is a frequency antenna, and right now, it's either reinforcing your old signal or supporting your new one. The way you move, the way you breathe, the way you hold your posture, the way you take care of your physical form, all of it is broadcasting. You cannot vibrate at a high frequency while treating your body like a dumpster. You cannot broadcast health while poisoning your system. You cannot signal abundance while your physical environment is chaotic and cluttered. Your body and your space are not separate from your frequency. They are your frequency made visible. So the recalibration here is physical. Move differently, breathe differently, occupy space differently. Treat your body like the sacred instrument it is, because it's literally the device through which you broadcast your signal into physical reality. Fourth channel, energetic frequency. This is the subtlest but most powerful channel because it's operating underneath everything else. It's the field you generate just by existing. Some people walk into a room and the energy shifts. That's frequency. Some people speak and you feel it in your chest before you process the words. That's frequency. Your energetic signature is the cumulative result of all your other channels, but it's also something you can tune directly. This is about presence. This is about coherence. This is about the alignment between who you're claiming to be and who you're actually being. You can fake the mental, emotional, and physical channels for a while, but you cannot fake your energetic frequency. People feel it. Reality responds to it. And if there's incongruence, if you're saying one thing but broadcasting another, the universe always matches the energetic truth, not the spoken lie. So here's your recalibration protocol, and it's simpler than you think. Every single morning, before you check your phone, before you engage with the world, before you let external reality dictate your frequency, you tune your signal. You sit with yourself and you ask, what frequency am I choosing today? Not what frequency do I feel like broadcasting based on my mood or my circumstances. What frequency am I consciously choosing? And then you tune each channel deliberately. You choose your mental frequency by deciding which thoughts get amplification. You choose your emotional frequency by generating the feeling state of your desired reality. You choose your physical frequency by moving and caring for your body in alignment with who you're becoming. You choose your energetic frequency by embodying that version of yourself completely, even if the external evidence isn't there yet. But here's the part that separates the people who transform from the people who just talk about it. You have to audit your frequency constantly, because your environment is always trying to retune you back to the old signal. The people you spend time with are broadcasting frequencies, and you're either amplifying theirs or they're amplifying yours. The content you consume is a frequency. The conversations you engage in are frequencies. The places you go, the food you eat, the music you listen to, all of it is either supporting your new signal or dragging you back to the old one. So you have to become ruthless about frequency protection. If it doesn't match the channel you're tuning into, you cut it out. Not eventually, not when it's convenient, now. This is where most people fail the recalibration. They tune their frequency in the morning, then spend the rest of the day in environments and relationships that broadcast the old signal. And they wonder why nothing changes. You cannot hold a new frequency in an old frequency environment. It's like trying to stay dry while swimming. The environment always wins unless you change it. So you audit everything. Your relationships. Do these people match my new frequency, or are they anchoring me to the old one? Your space. Does this environment support the signal I'm broadcasting, or is it a museum of who I used to be? Your consumption. Is this content elevating my frequency or numbing it? Your habits. Are these actions aligned with my new signal, or are they autopilot programs from the old frequency? And here's the daily frequency check that changes everything. Before you take any action, before you make any decision, before you engage with anything, ask yourself one question. Is this aligned with my new frequency? Not do I want to do this? Not will this make me comfortable? Is this the choice that the version of me at my new frequency would make? Because every single choice you make is either tuning you into your new signal or pulling you back to the old one. There's no neutral territory. Every conversation is a frequency choice. Every purchase is a frequency choice. Every thought you entertain, every emotion you indulge, every action you take, all of it is either recalibrating you forward or resetting you back. You're not trying to become someone else. You're tuning into the clearest, most aligned version of the frequency you've always been. And the recalibration isn't a one-time event. It's a moment-by-moment choice to stay locked into that signal, even when everything around you is broadcasting static. Your new frequency exists right now. The channel is live. The only question is, are you brave enough to stay tuned to it? You've chosen your frequency. You've started the recalibration. You're broadcasting a new signal, and for a moment, maybe a day, maybe a week, it feels incredible. You feel aligned. You feel powerful. You feel like you've finally cracked the code. And then it happens. The war begins. Not the war you expected, not some external enemy you have to defeat. The war against your own transformation. Because the moment you start broadcasting a new frequency, everything in your old reality mobilizes to pull you back. Your brain declares emergency status. Your relationships start malfunctioning. Your body rebels. Even the universe seems to test you with circumstances designed specifically to make you question whether this new frequency is worth fighting for. And here's the part nobody warns you about. This war is supposed to happen. It's not a sign you're doing something wrong. It's confirmation you're doing something right. Let's start with the most dangerous enemy, your own biology. Your brain has spent years, maybe decades, wiring itself to your old frequency. It's built highways of neural pathways that make your old thoughts automatic, your old behaviors effortless, your old identity feel like the only version of you that's real. And now you're trying to broadcast a new signal, which means creating entirely new neural pathways while the old ones are screaming at you to come back. This is why changing feels so exhausting at first. You're not just choosing different actions, you're literally rewiring your brain against its will. And your brain's response, it weaponizes everything it has. It generates fear so intense you can feel it in your chest. It creates stories about why this won't work, why you're not capable, why you should quit while you're ahead. It floods you with cravings for the old patterns because those patterns feel safe, even if they were slowly destroying you. This is homeostasis, and it's the most underestimated force in human transformation. Homeostasis is your body's commitment to keeping everything the same. Your temperature, your heart rate, your biochemistry, all of it is regulated to stay within a narrow range because that's how you survive. But here's the problem. Your brain doesn't distinguish between physical homeostasis and identity homeostasis. To your nervous system, you trying to become a different frequency is the same threat as your body temperature spiking to dangerous levels. It's a survival issue. So it activates every defense mechanism it has to pull you back to baseline, back to the old frequency, back to the version of you it recognizes as safe. And it's smart about it. It doesn't just hit you with obvious resistance. It uses your own mind against you. You'll wake up one morning and suddenly every reason why your old life was better will feel crystal clear. You'll remember the good parts and forget why you needed to leave. You'll start questioning whether this new frequency is just delusional, whether you're forcing something that isn't real, whether you're making a massive mistake. These aren't random thoughts. This is your homeostatic system trying to abort the mission. It's generating doubt because doubt makes you hesitate, and hesitation gives the old frequency time to reassert itself. Then there are the people, the ones who've known you at your old frequency, who've built their entire relationship with you based on who you used to be. And when you start broadcasting a new signal, something weird happens. They feel it before you even say anything. Your energy shifts, your responses change. The things you used to tolerate suddenly become intolerable. And their reaction? They try to pull you back. Not because they're bad people, not because they don't love you, because your transformation threatens their homeostasis too. If you can change, it means they can change, and that's terrifying. So they become frequency anchors. They remind you of who you were. They question your new choices. They subtly, or not so subtly, suggest you're changing in ways that make them uncomfortable. They need you to stay the same because your sameness allows them to stay the same. This is one of the hardest truths about frequency transformation. Not everyone gets to come with you. Some people are only compatible with your old signal. They match that frequency perfectly. And now that you're broadcasting something new, the connection distorts. Conversations that used to flow now feel forced. Time spent together that used to energize you now drains you. And you'll feel guilty about it. You'll try to maintain the relationships while shifting frequencies, and it'll feel like trying to listen to two radio stations at once. Nothing but static and exhaustion. But here's what you have to understand. Letting people go isn't betrayal. It's frequency alignment. You're not abandoning them. You're releasing them back to a frequency they're compatible with while you move to one they're not ready for. But the war gets more sophisticated than that, because some people won't just quietly drift away. Some will actively sabotage your new frequency. They'll mock your changes. They'll minimize your growth. They'll bring up every past failure as evidence that this time won't be different. They'll invite you back into old patterns disguised as just this once or for old time's sake. And if you're not aware of what's happening, you'll think you're just being social, just being flexible, just not taking yourself too seriously. But what you're actually doing is allowing your old frequency to reinfect your new signal through the people who are still broadcasting it. Then there's the environmental war. Your physical space, your daily routines, your habits, all of it was designed by and for your old frequency. You walk into your apartment and it's a museum of who you used to be. Your closet is full of clothes that broadcast the old signal. Your pantry is stocked with food that fueled the old frequency. Your daily route, your usual spots, your comfort zones, all of it is optimized for a version of you that's supposed to be dissolving. And every time you engage with these environments without consciously recalibrating them, they pull you back. Because your environment isn't neutral, it's always broadcasting a frequency, and you're either consciously designing it to support your new signal or unconsciously allowing it to reinforce the old one. And then comes the ultimate test, the circumstances that seem designed to prove your new frequency doesn't work. You start broadcasting abundance, and suddenly you have an unexpected expense. You start broadcasting confidence, and suddenly you face rejection. You start broadcasting health, and your body goes through a detox crisis that feels like you're getting worse, not better. And your brain uses all of this as evidence. See, this new frequency doesn't work. The old way was better. You should go back. But these aren't signs that your new frequency is failing. They're the last gasps of your old reality trying to maintain itself. They're tests. Not from some cosmic force judging you, but from the universe checking if you're actually committed to this new signal or if you're just experimenting. This is the 72-hour rule, and it's make or break. The first 72 hours after you commit to a new frequency are when the war is most intense. Your old patterns will scream the loudest. Your relationships will create the most drama. Your circumstances will seem to conspire against you. Because everything in your old reality can feel that you're about to permanently shift, and it's mounting a last-ditch effort to stop you. Most people fail here. They interpret the intensity as a sign they made the wrong choice, so they retreat back to the old frequency. But that intensity isn't a stop sign, it's a breakthrough trying to happen. The old frequency is collapsing, and collapse is always violent before it's liberating. So how do you win this war? First, you stop fighting it like it's a surprise attack and start treating it like an expected phase of transformation. You anticipate the resistance. You expect your brain to generate fear. You know your relationships will test you. You understand your environment will try to pull you back. And because you expect it, you're not shocked when it happens. You don't interpret it as failure. You recognize it as confirmation that you're actually changing. Second, you create pattern interrupts. The moment you feel yourself sliding back into an old frequency, old thought pattern, old emotional state, old behavior, you physically interrupt it. You change your physiology. You move your body differently. You speak out loud the frequency you're choosing. You do something, anything, that breaks the momentum of the old signal trying to reinstall itself. Because frequency shifts happen in moments, and every moment you choose the new signal over the old one. You're rewiring your brain, reprogramming your identity, and proving to reality that you're serious about this transformation. Third, you build accountability structures that won't let you collapse back. You tell someone about your new frequency who will call you out when you start broadcasting the old one. You create environmental cues that remind you who you're becoming. You design your day so that the new frequency is the path of least resistance, and the old frequency requires effort to access. You make it harder to go back than to move forward. And fourth, this is the most important one, you document the evidence. Because your brain will try to convince you that nothing's changing, that this new frequency isn't working, that you should give up. So you keep a record. Every time reality shifts in response to your new signal, you write it down. Every synchronicity, every unexpected opportunity, every moment where you notice you responded differently than the old you would have, you document it. Because that evidence becomes your ammunition in the frequency war. When doubt attacks, when fear screams, when your old reality tries to pull you back, you have proof that your new frequency is already working. The war is real. The resistance is guaranteed. But here's what your old frequency doesn't want you to know. It's already lost. The moment you consciously chose a new signal, the old one became obsolete. Now it's just a matter of whether you're willing to hold your new frequency through the turbulence long enough for it to become your new baseline. And that's exactly what we're about to lock in. You've survived the war. You held your frequency through the chaos, through the doubt, through every force that tried to pull you back. And now you're standing in this strange new space where your new signal feels real, feels possible, maybe even feels natural for moments at a time. But here's the brutal truth that separates temporary transformation from permanent evolution. Motivation got you here, but motivation won't keep you here. Because motivation is an emotion, and emotions are weather patterns. They come and go. You can't build a new frequency on something as unreliable as how you feel on any given day. What you need now isn't more inspiration or more intensity. What you need is integration. You need to take this new frequency and embed it so deeply into your operating system that it becomes who you are, not something you're trying to be. This is where most transformation dies. People hit a peak state, they broadcast their new frequency for a few weeks, maybe even a few months, and it feels incredible. They're getting results. Reality is shifting. They're convinced they've finally changed. And then life happens. Stress hits. Old triggers resurface. Circumstances get difficult. And without even realizing it, they slip back into the old frequency. Not all at once. That's not how it happens. It's subtle. One old thought pattern they don't catch. One old behavior they justify as just this once. One old relationship they re-engage with because they think they're strong enough now to handle it. And before they know it, they're broadcasting the same signal they spent months trying to escape, wondering how they ended up back where they started. The reason this happens is simple. They never locked in the signal. They rode the wave of motivation, but they never did the neurological embedding that makes the new frequency permanent. They never built the infrastructure that would make their new signal the default setting, instead of something they have to consciously choose every moment. And here's what you need to understand. Your brain is always trying to automate. It wants to take whatever you do repeatedly and turn it into an unconscious program so it can free up processing power for other things. Right now, your old frequency is automated. You don't have to think about broadcasting it. It just runs in the background. And if you don't automate your new frequency with the same level of repetition and consistency, your brain will eventually default back to the old program because it's more efficient to run something that's already installed than to keep consciously choosing something new. So locking in the signal isn't about willpower or discipline or motivation. It's about repetition until automation. It's about broadcasting your new frequency so consistently, in so many different contexts, under so many different conditions, that your brain has no choice but to rewire itself around it. It's about making your new signal so habitual that not doing it feels wrong. And that process has nothing to do with how inspired you feel. It has everything to do with whether you show up and broadcast the frequency even on the days when you don't feel like it. Especially on the days when you don't feel like it. Because those are the days that actually rewire your brain. Here's how you do it. You build frequency anchors, physical, environmental, and identity markers that constantly remind your system what signal it's broadcasting. A frequency anchor is anything that triggers your nervous system to lock into your new signal automatically. It could be a morning ritual that you do the exact same way every single day until your body associates that sequence of actions with your new frequency. It could be a physical object you place in your environment that represents who you're becoming, something you see multiple times a day that pulls you back to your signal when you start drifting. It could be a phrase you say out loud, a way you breathe, a posture you hold, anything that creates a physical link between an action and your frequency. The key is consistency and repetition. Your brain learns through pattern recognition, so you have to give it a pattern to recognize. Every morning, same time, same ritual, same frequency activation. Not when you feel like it, not when it's convenient. Every single day, because your brain doesn't rewire based on intensity, it rewires based on consistency. You can have the most powerful breakthrough experience of your life, and if you don't repeat the frequency that created it, your brain will file it away as a one-time event, not a new operating system. But if you show up and broadcast your new signal every day, even in small ways, your brain starts to recognize this as the new normal. And once it becomes normal, it becomes automatic. But here's where it gets deeper. You don't just need physical anchors, you need an evidence loop. Because your brain is always looking for proof of what's true. And right now, it has years of evidence that your old frequency was your identity. You need to start building evidence that your new frequency is real, is working, is producing results. So you document everything. Every time you catch yourself responding from your new frequency instead of your old one, you write it down. Every time reality shifts in a way that matches your new signal, you record it. Every synchronicity, every opportunity, every moment where you notice you're different than you used to be, you capture it. This evidence loop is critical because your brain will try to tell you nothing's changing. It'll focus on what's not working and ignore what is. It'll magnify problems and minimize progress. But when you have documented proof, physical evidence that you can review, your brain can't argue with it. You can look back over a month and see 50 moments where your new frequency showed up, where reality responded, where you were undeniably different. And that evidence becomes the fuel that keeps you locked into the signal, even when motivation fades, even when results seem slow, even when your old frequency tries to convince you to come back. Then you create point of no return moments. These are actions you take that make broadcasting your old frequency impossible or extremely costly. You don't just think about leaving the job that's incompatible with your new frequency. You actually leave it. You don't just consider ending the relationship that keeps pulling you back to your old signal. You actually end it. You don't just talk about changing your environment. You physically move, redecorate, redesign your space so thoroughly that your old frequency has nowhere to live. These aren't reckless decisions. These are strategic commitments. They're ways of burning the bridges back to your old reality so that moving forward is the only option. Most people never create these moments because they want to keep one foot in the old frequency just in case the new one doesn't work out. But that's exactly why it doesn't work out. You can't fully embody a new frequency while keeping an escape route back to the old one. Your brain knows you're not serious. Your nervous system knows you're hedging. And reality always matches your level of commitment, not your level of interest. When you create point of no return moments, you're telling the universe, and more importantly, telling yourself, that this new frequency isn't an experiment. It's who you are now. And then comes the compound effect. And this is where permanence actually happens. Because small daily frequencies don't create small daily results. They create exponential shifts over time. You broadcast your new signal today, and maybe nothing dramatic happens. You broadcast it again tomorrow, and the results are subtle. But you keep broadcasting it day after day, week after week, and something starts happening beneath the surface. Your neural pathways are rewiring. Your emotional baseline is shifting. Your energetic signature is changing. And then one day, seemingly out of nowhere, reality reorganizes itself in a way that would have been impossible from your old frequency. This is how transformation actually works. Not in lightning bolt moments, though those happen, but in the accumulated weight of consistent frequency broadcasting that reaches a tipping point. You don't notice you're different until suddenly everyone else does. You don't realize how far you've come until you look back and see that the person you were 6 months ago wouldn't even recognize the frequency you're broadcasting now. And the most beautiful part? It doesn't feel like effort anymore. It feels like breathing. Your new frequency has become so integrated into your system that broadcasting it is easier than not broadcasting it. But here's the final piece that makes it permanent. You have to become the frequency so completely that people can feel it without you saying a word. This isn't about performing or pretending. This is about embodying your signal so fully that it radiates from you. When you walk into a room, people sense something different. When you speak, your words carry a weight that didn't exist before. When you move through the world, opportunities appear because your frequency is calling them in without you even trying. This is what it means to lock in the signal. It's not something you do anymore, it's something you are. And once you reach that level of integration, your old frequency becomes irrelevant. It's still there in your memory. You can still access it if you wanted to, but there's no pull anymore. No temptation, no nostalgia, because you've tasted what it's like to broadcast from your truth, and going back would feel like suffocating. You've locked into a frequency that's so aligned with who you actually are that maintaining it requires less energy than abandoning it. And that's when you know the transformation is permanent. Your old signal collapsed. You survived the war. And now you've locked into a frequency that reality has no choice but to match. This isn't the end of your evolution. It's the beginning of what becomes possible when you stop broadcasting who you were and fully embody who you're becoming. The signal is locked. The frequency is live. And the only question left is, what reality are you going to create from here?